guys, what's going on? Welcome to the prep rally. We're here as usual, banging out our meal prep together. I know it seems like a long list today. You've already checked out your PDF on prepandrally.com once you've logged in, subscribed, and gotten all of your content for this week. So it may seem like a lot, but you guys, we're gonna bang it out together. We're gonna do this. I'm gonna show you how to make modifications, like what I'm doing today, and we are going to set ourselves up for the greatest week ever. Okay, here we go. So this is week 26, okay? Some spring-inspired menus coming your way. So we're starting to lighten things up very slowly, take us into spring, which is going to lead us into summer. So really fun changes to the menus happening week after week. So you'll continue to see those changes, which is exciting. We have some Passover-inspired meal preps coming up, which you would never know they're Passover-inspired unless you observe Passover and you see that they are kosher for Passover, but otherwise you would never have any clue because they're just our usual. There's quinoa, there's roasted chicken, so many great, amazing flavors, so you would never even know it. Okay, so we're gonna bang this thing out. We are starting with our Soy Glazed Kabocha squash, which is so good. I was so bummed that my grocery store did not have kabocha squash this week. I ordered butternut squash and it came and it was gross and mushy and not good. So I'm using my alternative. I had some Brussels sprouts in the fridge. I had one purple onion and I had 2 squash from testing on meal prep last week. So be sure to use what you have, especially Passover is coming up. I want you guys to really learn to think on your feet, use what you have in your fridge, use up leftover little bits of ingredients that you have so that you avoid food waste. That is what we're all about here, okay? I have my oven preheated to 425 degrees, so get that going. And we're gonna bang this thing out. If you are new here, log in, prepandrally.com. That's where you can subscribe, get access to every single meal prep that we do here. We do it together. Let's go. You should have some pre-prep over here. I've set up my stations, ready to rock and roll. So the Soy Glazed Kabocha, as I mentioned, I am doing this little assortment of vegetables. It could be any vegetable you want. Everything is enhanced and better when it's soy glazed. So, so good. So get your vegetables on your roasting sheet here. If you can get kabocha, I'd recommend it. It is my favorite squash ever. I'm obsessed with it. It's so good. But I'm starting with this instead of kabocha this week. And that's totally fine. Use what you got. All right, grab your soy sauce. I'm just following along on my PDF right here. Oh, I didn't even take you through my menu. Hang on one sec. Let me just tell you what we have going on first this week. So as you can see here, sort of, we have these amazing Korean style chicken wraps with soy glazed kabocha in it, or these vegetables that you're making. We have a meat pie with green beans, kind of like Syrian-inspired, with one of my favorite products, which is tamarind paste. For alternatives, reach out to me. I'm also going to be sending it in your email, so you'll have some alternatives if you need it. Gado-gado bowls with tempeh and squash, which has like peanut buttery kind of sauce. It's like an Asian bowl, so good. And black bean burgers with a Romesco and salad. So Romesco sauce is this like roasted red pepper almond sauce that is so delicious. So you're gonna love that on your black bean burgers. Kind of gonna give it some new life if you've had these burgers before. All right, and then as you see on the third page here after the grocery list, we have our Sunday prep. So what we're making is the kabocha squash, the green beans, the meat that's gonna go in the pie, the tempeh, Romesco sauce, Gado-gado sauce, black bean burgers, Korean chicken. A lot to get through. Okay, let's go. It's like, Dini, stop talking. Let's go, let's move. Here we go. All right, kabocha squash or any vegetable that you are using here. And here we go. We do this together. I'm following along just like you guys are. Either have it up on your phone, have it on your computer, any way that you like to get through these PDFs. You can print it. We make it very available and friendly for everything and everyone. So choose what works best for you. We got our soy sauce on there. Now we have a little bit of maple syrup. Maple syrup, obviously, you can avoid if you're trying to avoid sugar, but it just adds, obviously, some really great stickiness, sweetness, and the soy with the maple together is like the greatest combo. Little bit of oil, olive oil over here. That's it. Some salt. That's the entire thing. And you guys, you could do this with just about any vegetable. Obviously, if you're doing it with a squash, it gets really sticky because squash has natural sugars in it. So it gets really sweet and sticky and really, really good. It's like irresistible. So delicious. But any vegetables will work with this combo because it's just that good. Trust me. Okay? And this meal prep is all about that sweet and sour, tangy, kind of like balance of flavors. That's my favorite thing in the whole world, which is why I love Syrian food, because the tamarind paste, allspice, that sweet and sour situation, so good. All right, give your hands a rinse. You guys know I keep a garbage next to my little prep station always. I always have my little towel right over here, so you avoid running back and forth a million times. Pop it in, 425 degrees is gonna go in. If you're doing squash, it's gonna be around 30 minutes or so. This maybe will take also 25 to 30 or so, because I like it crisp. But keep an eye on it. It all just depends on how big or small you cut your pieces, okay? So, pop that in, done. Set it and forget it, okay? Green beans are happening next. I have 2 pounds of green beans here. If you don't like green beans, I'm about to change your mind, because these were literally the greatest green beans I think I've ever had, okay? So just bear with me and follow along. It is so good. All right, so we have our olive oil, okay? And here we go. All right, so this is also like kind of like Syrian-inspired flavors that I love, okay? I know you're gonna think I'm crazy, but follow along. So your green beans here, we have tomato paste, which sounds weird. Again, go along with it. I have not gained your trust yet. I really hope to gain your trust. Okay, hold on. I'll just wash this off. How is everyone doing? Are we all good? Is meal prepping change your life? I hope that this is changing the way you go about your week. It changes my week completely, and I'm so happy that I can share it with you guys. So be sure to keep sending in your pictures and posting so I can see everything that you guys are up to, because it keeps me going, okay? Okay, this is tamarind paste. So good. This brand is the Gulchin brand. There are a bunch of different brands that make it. You can order it online. I've posted it before. It lasts forever. I think I've had this since the last meal prep we used tamarind in, which was a couple months ago. So it really does last, okay? And it's dark and it's sticky and it's so good. Oh my God, I love it. Okay, let's get that in there. Hopefully you still have some from the last meal prep. It really, I don't know when it goes bad, but I keep mine for a really long time. And there we go. We have to sweeten it a little bit. So unless you, ooh is what it's called, for like Syrians by ooh, or ort or something, I think they pronounce it, which is tamarind paste that's already sweetened. If you're just buying straight tamarind paste, it is pretty tangy and it's not sweet at all. So you want to sweeten it with maple. So make sure that you are using straight tamarind paste and not ooh or ort, whatever they call it. Butchering it, I'm sorry. If you're Syrian, I apologize. So be sure to sweeten it with a little bit of maple. If not, because you need that little bit of sweetness, okay? So before you get your hands dirty, get all the other ingredients on there. So just set this aside. We're gonna add our 2 cloves of garlic, our lime, and our allspice. So let's do the salt and the allspice first, okay? Oh, I think I forgot to salt those vegetables before. Guys, I'm sorry. Okay, if you forgot to salt those vegetables, get a little bit of salt on there. I don't think I did that. Yeah, I do have that listed on here, but I forgot to salt it. But we could always do it at the end, so don't worry if you're freaking out. It's okay. You could always do it at the end a little bit. Plus, you have soy sauce in there, so you may not need so much or any at all. It's totally up to you, but you could always add at the end. Sorry about that. Okay, a little allspice, and this is that classic Syrian flavor. Okay, so get your allspice in there, and now we have our limes and our garlic. Okay, you could use the pre-minced garlic, totally fine. All right, and then that lime just further enhances that like tang and that sweet and sour flavor that we love. Okay, peel that garlic. If you can use fresh garlic, I always recommend fresh. It's just so good. But it won't make such a big difference here, so don't fret. All right, just give it a rough chop. Okay. I love this menu. I actually came up with this menu a while ago. We just haven't posted it yet. I've just been waiting to debut it, and I'm pretty excited about it. I really think you're gonna love it. These green beans are gonna be your new go-to. And again, I want you guys to be sure you are saving all these PDFs. We keep 4 up at a time. The year-long subscribers So if you're subscribed for the yearly plan, you get access to the archives. So if you're not yet a yearly member, you can always upgrade. Be sure to go into your customer portal and you could always switch to the yearly plan. So instead of going in and adding a yearly plan on top of your monthly plan, go in and edit your monthly plan to the yearly plan, if that makes sense. And then once your month runs up, then it will start the yearly plan so that you don't waste any of your month that you've already paid for, okay? You can do the same thing with the 6 months, upgrade to the yearly plan. You get access to all the archives. If you have any questions, reach out to me, deanie@prepandrally.com or info@prepandrally.com. We will respond with both, from both emails, okay? But where was I going with that? I can't even remember. Oh, okay. Yes, be sure you are saving those PDFs because we keep 4 up at a time on the site, as you've noticed, and then they're gone. So be sure to save them all to your desktop, to a folder, to a physical folder, kind of like a little cookbook that you've been preparing. Totally your call how you want to store them, but definitely be storing them, okay? And if you've missed a couple while you were a subscriber and you just forgot to save it, you could always email me again and I'm happy to send over anything you've missed, okay? But be sure that you're saving them because this is a great side dish for like a Friday night dinner or really whenever. So be sure to save these recipes because that's what you're paying for, right? And I want you to be able to keep this content and use it over and over and over again, okay? Gone are the days where you have one cookbook with a set amount of recipes. Here you're getting 8 or so brand new recipes every single week. So I want you to feel good about being part of the system and know that you're getting so much value because you're always getting new recipes and you have constantly new, fresh content. And a lot of you who are Passover observers are looking for a bunch of Passover-inspired recipes and those are coming your way. So we're always thinking seasonal and holiday and all that. So stay tuned for the holiday goodies. Okay. So we just got our lime in there. And all you're gonna do now is toss that all together. I know it's gonna look a little scary. Hold on, I want you guys to see this. See that? Looks a little scary because of the really dark tamarind. But I promise you, you guys, oh my God, these are so irresistible. I couldn't stop eating them. And I kept cooking them so that they're really nice and crisp. Oh my God, yum. I like when green beans are overcooked a little bit. I'm just saying. I don't know about you guys, but oh, yum. Okay. So good. All right, so spread that out. So it's like a single layer as best as you can. Give your hands a wash. Okay. And we'll pop this in that same oven. And guys, I can't stress enough how important it is to start with a clean kitchen. I work from home, so I always make sure that my house is clean before I start doing any work. But like clean mind, clean space equals production, not production, productivity. So make sure that you just start with a clean space, set yourself up for a successful meal prep, and then it will just kind of be really easy and seamless, okay? Pop these in the oven. These are gonna be in there for, I say 20 to 25 minutes, but it also depends on if you got, set your timer, but it also depends on if you're using those French cut green beans or if you're using the traditional ones or the haricot vert ones. Cook a little bit faster because they're skinnier. So it's totally dependent on what kind you're using. So be sure to just keep an eye on it if you like it crispier, if you like it crunchier, or if you like it a little bit more on the softer side, okay? So totally up to you, however you want to cook them, but just keep an eye on them, okay? Moving right along, we're gonna do the meat for the meat pie. So I have a large meat pan here, okay? Let's move these guys out of the way. We have our ground beef right over here, all of the ingredients we need. All right, beautiful. So pop a little bit of oil in your pan, and we're going to cut up 1 onion, okay? So, never get comfortable. It's not a problem. You can never get comfortable when I'm cooking. All right, here we go. 1 onion, you guys know the drill. So, I also turned my heat on, so it's starting to heat up a little bit. So you want that on a pretty high heat. Okay. Take your little peel and peel your onion. All right, get rid of all that. And we are going to cut up half of an onion, pretty small dice, okay? So that means put your onion flat, cut like maybe 3 incisions that way, but don't go all the way through, right? You want to keep it intact at the end. And then go in this direction. Same thing, don't go all the way through. Be sure to keep it intact at the end so it doesn't fall apart on you. And then go this way. It's always like a little grid. Okay, so here we're making that meat pie filling. So essentially what you're gonna do, you're gonna make this meat, and then later in the week, you actually have options. If you wanna take this meat and cook it on a pizza, like on pizza dough, super delicious if you wanna do that. An easier thing to do, I guess they're both pretty easy, which is what the recipe is for, is to just either bake it in a skillet or in a, any kind of pan or baking dish that you like with puff pastry over it. So it's kind of like all the meat in the bottom and then the puff pastry on top that kind of covers it, kind of like a pot pie in a way. But you do anything you like. You can even make little like popovers if you want to put it inside dough. So really anything works that you like, okay? But the meat is gonna be so flavorful, so good. Here we go. So get that mixing around. Already smelling good. I mean, like once you introduce onions to oil and hot pan, good things are happening. Okay, so onions are gonna go in there, then we're gonna brown the meat really well, get it nice and brown in there, and then we're gonna add the rest of the ingredients. So we're using apricot preserve, which sweetens it, also has some of that tanginess factor that we love. So we're gonna add some of that in there. We have a lemon juice, some more of that tamarind since you already have it, a whole can of tomato paste. So I have 2 cans here. Reserve the rest of the one that you already started for later. Take the new can and we're gonna use that here, okay? Here we go. Lovely. Keep mixing this around 1 more minute. And I have my ground beef right here. Okay. And all you're gonna do, I'm gonna push those onions to the side so they could continue doing their thing a little bit longer while I get the meat started over here. So get it in there and start just breaking it apart. Okay. So good. You could even serve this like taco style if you wanted to. So make this filling and then have your kids, if you want, just put it inside a taco or in a tortilla. You could serve this any which way you like, really. Okay, so break that up. Move those onions around a little bit. You don't have to do this side by side. I'm just doing it so that the onions could continue to caramelize a little bit more. And, okay. Here we go. You have your tomato paste. Let this brown a little bit more before putting that tomato paste in. Sorry, I'm just rushing it. Okay, so let it brown for a couple more minutes. Meanwhile, the spices in here, we're gonna do salt, pepper if you like, cinnamon, and allspice. I'm out of cinnamon. I'm just gonna do some salt. Season it really well. You can do the onions too. Some of that allspice, which again, that like classic kind of Syrian-y flavor. And break that on up. I'm doing less than the original recipe, but just follow along your PDF for the exact measurements and directions. All right, now I'm incorporating that onion into the meat. You want your heat to be pretty high so this gets nice and browned quickly. And keep mixing that around. So we have the allspice in there, we have the salt in there. Okay, we have our onion. Tomato paste, I'm gonna mix around in 1 minute. I just put it in too quickly. Cool, just keep mixing around the meat. Let it get nice and brown. We have our apricot preserves. Okay, you don't have to use as much as the recipe calls for, but it does add that really nice sweetness and tanginess. You could just add a little bit of maple syrup if you want as well, if you don't want to buy apricot preserves now. But you want a little bit of sweetness in there. It makes it really good. And just continue to break that up. I'm going to mix around the tomato and the apricot in just a minute. Just keep mixing around that meat with onions. So good. All right, beautiful. And here we go. All right, let's see. What are we forgetting? The tamarind paste is here. Okay. So get that on in there. Perfect. That same tangy flavor that I am obsessed with. Here we go. And one. Okay, sorry. Just editing that for a second. Okay, cool. Here we go. 1 lemon. Okay, you want about a tablespoon or so. So that's really juice of 1, depending on how juicy your lemon is, but about a tablespoon or so. Again, follow your PDF for all the exact measurementos. We already seasoned it with salt. If you have cinnamon, add your cinnamon in there. If you are terrified of adding cinnamon because it's more of a sweet ingredient, you don't have to, but I recommend it because it is good, okay? It's really good in there. Okay, mix that all together now. So now I'm taking that tomato, I'm taking that apricot. Now that my meat is pretty nicely browned, mix that all together. It should be smelling phenomenal in here. Sweet, tangy, such good flavors. Mmm, yummy. Okay, give that a mix around. You want it to just all be incorporated. You want the meat to be fully cooked through, and then get it off the heat. Okay, and then this you're just going to let cool, and you're going to store it. And then when you're actually serving it during the week, all you're going to do is take it out, heat it up ever so slowly and gently, and you can serve it either in tacos. You could serve it with the puff pastry like in the recipe. You could bake it on a pizza. Do you. You could just serve it as is. You could serve it in lettuce cups. Totally your call. Okay? Make sure everything is fully blended together and incorporated. I know it sounds like a really weird combo if you're not used to Syrian style food. Trust me when I say it is so good. You're gonna love it. All right. Yum. Beautiful. All right, get it off the heat. There's still going to be that carryover cooking time, that residual heat that continues to cook it if you do not move it right to a storage container. So I'm just going to set this off to the side. Boom skis, done. All right, that's finished. Tempeh is the next thing. I have another pan here. I like using nonstick when I'm doing tempeh because it avoids sticking, obviously. It may not stick for you, but just to ensure that it doesn't, it's always good to use nonstick if you have that option available to you. Okay? Tempeh. There's all kinds of different tempeh. You can buy this one with like a hemp tempeh. I don't know, my grocery shopper sent that today. I guess I didn't have the other one. They have some that are flax tempeh. They have some that are made out of soy, some that are wheat. So there's tons of different ones, basically fermented either grains or soy. And that's what this product is, super high in protein, but you could also use seitan, you could use tofu, you could even use chicken here if you wanted. It's totally up to you. But we're just basically gonna be making a really yummy, like again, like a soy tangy glaze to go over this crispy kind of fried tempeh, okay? Super yummy. So all you're gonna do, I'm pretty sure I cut these into triangles. Yeah. All right. So cut into 16 triangles. So basically, let's see, if we cut it in half. Yeah, cutting it in half, cutting it this way, cutting it this way. Okay, did you see what I did? Doesn't really matter what exactly you do, but I basically made like a little square, and then I cut the square into 4 pieces here. I have another square that I'm gonna cut again into 4 more triangles. And then I have this one that I'm experimenting with. Never tried this one. Kind of looks a little weird, but we'll try it. Why not? Kind of has more of like a rubbery kind of tofu texture rather than a firm tempeh texture, but try different things and figure out what you like, okay? Okay, so I have my 16 little triangles. Bump your heat on your pan and oil, and get your little tempeh in there when it starts to crisp or to heat up. I'm gonna grab a tongs. These are great tools for frying, flipping in the kitchen, okay? So here we go. So basically we're gonna pan fry these. Once the oil gets a little bit hot, we'll season with some salt, and then we're gonna make kind of like what we did with the tofu, with those banh mi tofu. If you guys made that, I think it was like 2 weeks back, maybe. We're just gonna make like a little marinade here, and then right when it comes off of the heat, you're gonna put it in the marinade, and it's just gonna sit there overnight and soak up all those flavors for the week, okay? It's gonna be really good. So let's let this heat up for 1 more minute. We could start preparing this little marinade here. So we already have this soy sauce, and you guys know I love repurposing any leftovers that we already have and things that we're already buying, utilize it all the way. So like we already have soy sauce we're using. It's already out, we already bought it. Let's use it, right? All right, so we have our soy sauce, and let's see, you can either use maple or brown sugar here. I'm gonna use a little maple. You don't have to use maple in all these recipes. Trust me, there are always ways to modify. You do not need to do the recipes exact or at all the way I do them. Completely make it up and make it work for you, whichever diet you're on, whichever you like. There's no need to ever use the maple. It just obviously adds that sweetness, which is delicious, and it helps kids eat and enjoy a little bit more, I find. But do you, okay? We're gonna get our lime in there. Before we do that, oil's nice and hot, so get your little tempeh square triangles. I don't know my shapes. Get your triangles in there. All right. I'm gonna do half at a time maybe, okay? Season it with some salt. Nice to make tempeh for a client all the time, which was the first time I actually learned about tempeh, and happens to be really good. On its own, it has 0 flavor. But once you fry it up, get it nice and crisp and yummy. First of all, it gives it delicious texture. And then once you introduce a delicious sauce, especially with a sauce that's like sticky and salty and yummy, it's so good. Also, if you have like a fish sauce, you can add fish sauce into here as well, which would give it even more pops of flavor. That's really yummy. All right, so get your lime juice in there. Gives it some nice freshness. Okay. And that's the whole thing. Okay. Yeah. All right, let this tempeh. Tempeh is basically cooked. You're just kind of getting it a little crispy, getting some color on it, and then obviously it's going to cook even more when you're reheating it to actually serve it, unless you're serving it cold or room temperature. But it's already like a finished product. We're just kind of crisping it up a little bit. Okay. Beautiful. That's done. So check on your tempeh. You see it's starting to get some color on it. Can you guys see that? Give it another minute, and then we will flip it. You want to add a tiny bit more oil. Okay. Oh, I have a cut, and that line is hurting. So we already have, let's recap. We have the meat, the roasted kabocha, or any vegetables you are using in the oven. We have the green beans in the oven. I have my timer set. I've got 10 more minutes on that until I check on it. So be sure to set your timers, check frequently, because every oven is different. Every cut is a different size depending on what you're doing. So always, just never rely on cooking times, because there's so many different variables and things that play into it, okay? Here we go, check it out. See that? That's what you're looking for. Flip it over. Flip it over. And, oh, these look so good. Okay. I can't even talk today. If If you've never had tempeh before, you should totally try it. Really good. Just like crispy and yummy. And even your kids may like it. You just never know. All right, I'm gonna get these ones in there because I have the room, so why not? These ones are weird. It does look like hemp tea. This is like pure hemp tea that I guess they ferment. But it's making more of a sizzle than the other tempeh because it's wetter. I told you, it came like packed in water and it kind of has more of a texture of tofu, but it's a little bit firmer than tofu. It's weird, but we'll try it. We shall try it. We have our marinade all ready to go here. And what you could do is right when this comes off, put it into marinade. If you want to even further make it even more delicious and glazed, I'll show you what I'm going to do after, because I am going to, and I have this option for you on the PDF, I'm going to pour the marinade into the pan so that it can soak up all those flavors and get a little bit glazed and yummy. All right, let that sit. Get nice in color. All right, 2 more minutes on there. Once we're done with this, we are going to start working on the, let's see, on the Romesco sauce. That's just like blended up goodness. Super easy to do. So I'm gonna start bringing everything over here to accomplish that, because that's gonna be super quick and easy. So grab all of your ingredients for that over here. Okay. Meanwhile, take all this tempeh out, stick it in here for now. That is nice and golden and beautiful on the other side. Let these other ones cook up quickly. Yum. So again, you don't have to do this next step that I'm going to show you, but it's an option if you would like it. So, all right, cool. It's browned up nicely. Can you see that? Kind of. So I'm going to flip these ones. Smells pretty good. Fun working with a new product. You just never know. You never know. All right. So, give that another minute or so. Romesco sauce. We're moving right along. Make sure clean off your board a little bit if it's a little messy. Always want to work with a nice clean board. Okay. All right, so these ones, there's like more sides to cook. So just like flip them on all sides so you get color everywhere. Cook them everywhere. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this whole container with the sauce, with this other batch of tempeh. We're gonna throw it all in here. We're gonna let that sauce just kind of like bubble up for a couple minutes just to like get glazy and sticky and yummy. And it's further gonna just like concentrate and get into that tempeh and make it so flavorful and good. If you want, you could just let it sit in the marinade overnight. It will still soak up those flavors, but again, introducing heat to any kind of like sugar or maple just further enhances that sweetness, concentrates the flavor, and makes it so good. All right, so here we go. You wanna make sure, I'm gonna shut my heat off, okay? That's a really hot pan. You don't want anything to start bubbling over or start spraying on you when you pour liquid in. So take it off your heat for a second. See that? Always be prepared for that. All right, throw everything in there. Put this off to the side. All right, can you see what's going on here? So kind of get everyone situated and nestled in this yummy sauce. Bump your heat back on and just give it like a minute or so in here. And those flavors are just gonna like really, really blend together. It's gonna soak up all the flavors in the tempeh. You could flip them in there, make sure everyone is like really introduced to those sauce flavors, coated. Oh, it smells so good in here. Another really good addition here is a little bit of orange juice or orange zest. That's another way you could switch this up. Make it kind of like an orange soy kind of glaze. Super good, okay? So you see the sugars in the pan from the maple are starting to caramelize and to glaze. Wish we had close-ups here, but you could kind of see, right? So I would say give that another minute or so on pretty high heat, just so it could really boil. You're boiling off some of that moisture, which is how it concentrates and reduces and gets super caramelized and yummy. Okay, that's how you make any good sauce. It's all about that surface area. So you have evaporation, which equals concentrated flavors. Okay, stop nerding out on you. Okay, here we go. We're going to get started on the Romesco sauce. So I have 1 scallion in the recipe. It's all the way towards the bottom, but just throwing that in there because I have it right here. All right, I have a storage container, which we're going to use our immersion blender just to blend it right in here. If you're using the whole almonds, I recommend using a food processor, but I'm gonna be using almond meal. It's just easier and it's the same thing, and I already had it at home, so why not use that? But choose whichever option you like or whatever you currently have, okay? I'm just gonna use this, because why not? I have 2 whole, I know it's 3 peppers. So this is fire roasted peppers. Hold, let me pour some of this liquid. Okay. And fire roasted peppers are a great ingredient to keep in your pantry because they are so flavorful. So look, they're just these full charred red peppers. Okay, and we're gonna use about 3 of them from this jar. Super flavorful. And we're gonna blend this all together in an amazing, amazing sauce. So I think it's just about this whole jar. There's 2. Come on out, mister. Let me get a fork. Okay, I'm shutting this off. And hold on, you could see really quick. Storage container. Carefully pour it in there. All right, see that? It smells so good. Oh my God, sticky soy glaze. If you crave those Asian-y flavors, but don't want to actually invest in unhealthy Chinese food tonight, make something like this because it will give you that same flavor. And as I mentioned before, you could do it with chicken, you could do it with meat. Use that same kind of technique like I use, where you sear it first, get it nice and crisp and caramelized, take it off the heat, put your marinade sauce in, and then add the protein back into it, let it all cook together. I mean, that's like Chinese fast food. Oh, it smells so good. I'm getting so hungry. Okay, whole roasted peppers right in here. You're either adding your slivered almonds or your almond meal. Now it seems weird that almond meal is going in here, but almonds and these peppers, that's what makes this classic Romesco sauce, okay? Here we go. I'm using white wine vinegar. The recipe calls for red wine. Use whichever you have, whichever you like. All good in the hood. Okay. And smoked paprika. Smoked paprika is also classic here. You could use regular if you don't like smoked. And a little bit more of that tomato paste because it has some of that tomato flavor in it. Romesco sauce is supposed to be this like tomatoey, peppery, kind of acidic yet creamy situation. I told you, this meal prep is like so chock full of really good flavors. Okay, hold on. I always have like food all over my laptop. You guys have that same problem? If you follow on your PDF on your computer, you likely have that problem as well. Okay, we have some olive oil, nice amount of olive oil, but keep in mind you're not gonna be eating this whole container. You're just gonna be having a little bit on your bowls, and it's also gonna be used for your black bean burgers, okay? Super flavorful. My timer's going off. I'm gonna check on that in 1 minute, so don't mind the beeping, okay? Here we go. Put that in there. 1 clove of garlic, and because we're using an immersion blender, you could just throw everything right in. Pretty cool. Okay, get your immersion blender over here. Here we go. Hold on, mine's like super tangly. Get this untangled. Okay, cool. Here it is. I'm here. Okay. Okay, beautiful. So put it right. The immersion blender, I always say, is like the greatest tool because it's like 30 bucks or something like that. And you blend right into the container that you're gonna be storing in. So you save on dishes, you save on time. All you have to do is wash this one little piece because it disconnects. Throw it in the dishwasher. Doesn't get easier. You could do soup, stews, mashed potatoes, whatever. Okay, blend it all together. And I love using the almond meal as well because it blends so much easier here. God, yum. So you should have like a super beautiful color. Take a little fork, taste it. Little salt. Oh my God, that tastes so good. You have that garlicky flavor, but it's not too intense. Season with some salt and pepper, whatever it needs. Oh my goodness, that is so good. Check out that color. It's like this gorgeous, gorgeous coral color. This will be your new go-to sauce. Use it, make some roasted potatoes one day and serve it with this as a dip. You could do this with salmon fish sticks. You could do this with anything. So take this recipe and use it forever and for always. It's great mixed into a pasta. It's just a great thing to make, and it probably stores really well. I've never done it, but I would assume that it stores really well in the freezer, and you could just pop it out anytime you want and use it. All right, check on those vegetables. Yummy, looking so good. Okay, hold on, let me take everything out. Yum. Okay, so the green beans, I'm gonna give an extra 6 minutes. Why not? I don't know where I come up with these numbers, but I like when they get really crisp. Check out these yummy vegetables. This is your soy glazed, either kabocha squash or whichever vegetables you are using. Those are looking so delicious. And I'm gonna put this towel back here. I just gave 6 more minutes to my green beans because I like when they get really kind of like overcooked and sticky. But make sure you keep an eye on yours because every oven's different, as I mentioned. Okay, so that's it. Romesco sauce is done. Now we're gonna make that quick Gado-gado sauce, which is an amazing, is it Vietnamese? I think it's Vietnamese. I may be butchering that, so you may wanna look that up. But it's an amazing sauce. And you make a really yummy bowl out of it, which I'm gonna show you how to do this week with the PDF. Okay, so super simple. We have, first of all, give your immersion blender top just a little rinse. We're gonna be using this again while we already have it out. So give it a quick little rinsey poo. Honestly, you don't even need to because all the flavors really go together anyways, but give it a rinse. And grab yourself one more little spoon here. We have our peanut butter. You guys are gonna love this sauce too. These are such good flavors. Like sauces are such a good thing to just keep on hand. I always say having 1 or 2 really good sauces for the week really takes your week to another level for lunches, for dinners, because then you just eat well all week long because you have such great, exciting sauces to go with it. Okay? Another clove of garlic. Just gonna smash it, throw it in because we have an immersion blender. It does all the hard work for us. A little bit more soy sauce. I know we're using a lot of soy sauce here, but trust me, it works and it's so good. Okay, maple syrup. Again, I know it's a lot of maple. I'm doing less than I told you guys to. Do however much you like. You could always add more, you could add less. Totally your call. A little bit of curry powder, which is classic here as well. Another lime. So we have a lot of like very similar flavors going on. Really amazing, delicious flavors. Like I'm a massive fan of this meal prep. Such good stuff. Okay, sometimes you get a lime that looks kind of white in the center and it has like no juice. And that's such like a really unfortunate time. Look at that. One little stinking drip. Okay, well luckily I have this half a lemon from earlier. So I'm just gonna make sure I don't get any seeds in it, but you just want acid. So you could use lemon, you could use lime. So use what you got. Okay, but always know if you could always, if you're ever out of something, you could always use lemon instead of lime for similar flavor. Not the same, but very, very similar. Okay? Give those hands a rinse. All right, beautiful. What's next? Hold on, let's lift this up. Okay, that's it, guys. Easy, okay? Take that same immersion blender and put it right in there. And you're gonna use, you're gonna add any water to just thin this out. If it gets too thick for the peanut butter, you can always add more water to thin out. So just know that, okay? Put my hand here just in case we have any sprayage. Always wanna steer clear of that. Okay, so you see it gets really thick really fast. So, hold on, this is empty anyways. I'm gonna add a little bit of water to this. Add some extra sweetness. Easy. Okay, blend it again. And as it sits in your fridge, it may thicken up again. Same thing with tahina. But you could always add more water to thin it out, make it more pourable and more of like a dressing rather than like a thick sauce. Okay, I want a little more here. Makes it go a little further too. Plus it reduces the calories and you thin things out a little bit. Okay. Oh my goodness, yum. A little more. Oh my God, that peanut flavor, yum. This sauce also really good to use on any kind of grain bowls, for salads. You can make chicken skewers. Oh my God, so good. It's just like a peanut satay kind of sauce. So flavorful, so good. I'm so excited about the sauces, I can't even tell you. This to me is meal prep success. Having amazing sauces that you're so excited to dig into all week long. We have some healthy, delicious proteins, amazing roasted vegetables. I mean, life doesn't get better. I love meal prep. Okay. All right, here we go. Guys, we're almost done. We really did everything. We just need to make our black bean burgers, and then we're gonna marinate the chicken. I know it seems like so much this week. It kind of is a lot, but you're gonna be so happy, I swear. We're already in it. Let's do it. We in it to win it, okay? I have my bowl of my cans of black beans. Okay, I have 2 scallions here. You could do more. I think I have a different measurement on here, but use however many you have, however many you like. I'm just using 2 because that's what I got. Okay, so all we're gonna do is make the batter for the black bean burgers. You're actually gonna fry them up fresh that night or bake them, depending on what you wanna do. And then we're going to marinate our chicken, and then we're just gonna cook it fresh that night as well. Or not that night, a different night. Okay, so I'm just chopping this up. I started by like thinly slicing them, but then I like to even chop it even more so that they fully distribute into these black bean burgers. If you have not had my black bean burgers yet, I know you're thinking like, ooh, how good could a black bean burger be? But like, seriously, black bean burgers could be good. I promise you. These are so good and they're cheesy and delicious. All right, rinsing my hands off, taking my green beans out. Pause 1 second. All right, oh my God, yum. Okay, hold up. Move this over here. Such crazy good flavors. Holy smokes. Okay, let me just show you. They're dark from that tamarind, but I promise you, oh my God. Yum, yum. You're gonna love these. Love, love, love. Oh wow, so good. Crazy good. Wow. Okay, I told you, such good flavors going on. Okay, here we go. So I have my black beans. We have scallions. I have about a cup or so. I did a little bit extra of mozzarella cheese. We have 4 eggs that we're gonna add in. And you could even make all of this fresh. So if you wanted to not make this right now and make the whole black bean burger recipe fresh that night, by all means, go ahead. This just takes one less thing off of your plate that night while you're already in it, making a mess. Just do it. All right, so we have 4 eggs in there, which is gonna bind these, okay? And, all right, my towel. Once you get so used to having that little towel there, it's like, I feel like naked when it's not there. Okay, I'm gonna season it with some salt. You want a nice amount of salt. Also check your cans of black beans. Sometimes they come pre-salted, so you may not need as much, but I always give a nice amount of salt. And then I'm adding onion powder, not garlic powder today, because that's what I have, but either way, so good. And then I say to use whole wheat flour. You could use regular flour. You can use a gluten-free flour. I am using wheat bran. I've been wheat bran obsessed lately. If you follow me on Instagram, you've seen my wheat bran obsession. I'm using this because it's clean anyways, and why not? It's already dirty. But wheat bran is so healthy, tons of fiber, and really you're just looking for something to bind this. So wheat bran works perfectly here. So if you follow the F Factor diet or you're trying to incorporate some more fiber into your diet, buy some wheat bran. I get the finely ground wheat bran. I've been making these wheat bran waffles out of it. And I figure why not put them in here? Make them a little bit healthier, add some extra fiber, even though beans already have a ton of fiber and protein in them. So healthy. And the cheese just helps them stick together even more so and makes them really irresistible, and the kids are gonna love them. And you could serve these either in buns, you could serve them with a salad, you could just take one on the go. It's the best recipe ever. You guys are gonna love them. So what I would do if I had a fork right now, I would just kind of mash up the black beans a little bit. I like to do that so they hold together even more so and really keep from falling apart. So try to mash up at least some of them so that it sticks together, okay? But otherwise, for right now at least, I'm gonna stick this in the fridge like this, and then right before I'm about to cook them, I'm gonna mash it up all together, or you can do it now, form them into little patties, and then you could fry them and or bake them. Could also do it now if you'd like. But I'm just gonna store it like this, fry them up fresh that night. Lost a little bean. Okay, lastly, whew, so long meal prep, I know. We normally don't do as much, but you're gonna thank me, I promise. Okay, lastly, we're just gonna marinate meat and then we're done. Boom, okay, here we go. I already have my scallions sitting here, so I have my chicken here. I told you guys to get chicken thighs. We personally just don't love dark meat in this family. I mean, the kids don't really care either way, but Mike and I prefer white meat. So I just did some thinly cut chicken breasts, but use any cut that you like. You could even do these on the bone. It's just gonna take a little bit longer to cook, obviously. So try to get boneless. Okay, grab your scallions, so the scallions in there. And what's great about using a plastic bag like this is that it goes right in the garbage, which I know is a little wasteful, but it does make life a little easier. Okay, here we go. I normally have frozen ginger. I ran out, and I figured, you know what, let me just buy this jar. It really is like just as good, honestly, and it's so much easier. So if you can find jarred ginger, so potent, so good. Yum, that's delicious. Okay, yeah. Buy pre-ground, it's a lot easier. Here we go. Rice wine vinegar, I already have the white wine vinegar right here, so why not use it? It's just acid, a little bit in there. And here we go. You could do maple if you want. I ran out and you don't need it either way. A little bit of toasted sesame oil. This one has a little bit of heat, so I'm not gonna do too much, but follow along with the recipe. That one's a little bit spicy though. 4 cloves of garlic, and what else? Soy sauce. Doo-doo. Okay, that's it. If you want to add some like sriracha, make it spicy, go right ahead. About 4 cloves of garlic. And then you guys, we are done. Done, done, done. This is going to marinate overnight. You're going to cook this fresh for Monday night's dinner. Don't let it go more than 24 hours of marinating. And you're going to serve this either in those lettuce cups like I showed you guys in the picture. That's how I personally love to serve these, like super fresh, especially for like summertime, spring. Really, really satisfying, crunchy and delicious. Or you could serve it chopped up in a salad if you want, or you could serve it in a sandwich, in a pita for the kiddos, or for you if you prefer that. It's totally your call, however you want to serve this. Okay, it's really good in a sandwich, like really, really good. You could even do a little bit of mayo. You can make a spicy mayo and serve it with that. So super yummy. You could even cook this now if you want, let it marinate for like 15 minutes, but otherwise you could just let it go overnight, or you could even pop this in the freezer and let it marinate while it's in the freezer, and then when you defrost it and thaw it, cook it fresh then, okay? Wash my hands off. And look at that, everything is already out of the oven. There is no waiting around today, so even though it did take us a little bit longer because we went through a lot, we are under an hour, 54 minutes. Boom. Okay, under an hour. It's just crazy how we do this under an hour just about every single week. It's actually always under an hour. The only time it was ever over an hour was when we were live and we were like taking questions from you guys. That's when it would take a little bit longer. But otherwise, we do this in an hour or under. It's usually between 30 to 40 minutes on average. Insane. So get this nice and coated and marinated. Get that ginger, garlic everywhere. You want to use fresh garlic and ginger here because it's such good flavor. Let's go through everything we just did because we just crushed this meal prep, okay? We have the Gado-gado sauce, we have the Romesco sauce, we have our marinated Korean chicken, We have our tempeh over here. We have our black bean burger mixture over here. We have the beef for those meat pies. And then we have these green beans that are so good. And of course, these roasted vegetables or your kabocha squash, depending on what you decided to make. Okay, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hold on, I'm forgetting something. Pause. What's 8? Black bean burgers, Romesco sauce, Gado-gado sauce, tempeh, meat for pie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What am I forgetting? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going crazy. I can't count today. Guys, you crushed this meal prep. Seriously, you're going to love all this food. Follow me at Prep and Rally. Be sure to share, tag. I cannot wait to see. And just so you guys know, we launched a referral program. If you missed it on Instagram, go onto Instagram and click on the latest highlight that I added, because you could get your unique link that you could share with your friends. Tell your friends about it. If they sign up using your link, they get 20% off of their order of a meal prep subscription. You get $5 cash in your PayPal account. It's crazy. It's just pure cash. So it's a really, really fun program we're running. We're also featuring some amazing meal prep women who just get stuff done. Not limited to women, but for the most part, it's like mostly moms who use this. So we're just featuring and highlighting amazing people using this program week after week. And we want to share you guys and celebrate you and thank you for sharing and promoting, because that is the reason why we're here. So you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for being here. And be sure to keep following along and tag me. I cannot wait to see how this week goes for you. Sending so much love to you guys. Bye.